Year 8 reading assessment on Nessie. Now, if you haven't read the text and how to go to the questions, you need to do that first. But provided you have done that, then let's have a look at these questions. Okay, let's have a look at question 1. Look at the text in the box below. Underline the word that tells us that the monster is different each time it is explained. Now, remember, you're just looking for one word. That word is going to be a synonym for different. Remember, a synonym is a word or phrase that means exactly the same or nearly the same as another word or phrase in the same language. For example, shut is a synonym of close. So let's have a read through. It's similar to other supposed lake monsters in Scotland and elsewhere, though its description varies from one account to the next. Okay, there's our word there, varies. Varies means to differ in size, amount, degree, or nature from something else of the same general class. Okay, number 2. The most common speculation among believers is that the creature represents a line of long-surviving plesiosaurs. What does this mean? The Loch Ness Monster is a myth. Well, I'm sure it does mention that in the text, but I don't think that's our answer. Loch Ness has a lot of believers in the monster, so there are a lot of people who believe in the Loch Ness Monster. I don't think it's that. People believe that the monster is a relative of ancient creatures that lived in water. I think that's potential. We'll read the last one to make sure. The Loch Ness Monster is older than the dinosaurs. Okay, it does say a line of long surviving plesiosaurs. It doesn't mean there's older than the dinosaurs, it's just long surviving, so it's still alive and the dinosaurs aren't. So I'm going to go with this one. People believe that the monster is a relative of ancient creatures that lived in water. Okay, what 2 things do the scientific community think about the monsters? Tick 2. Now the trick with this one was to make sure that you were reading the right bit of the text, because several of these were true for other parts of the text, but this is specifically about the scientific community. So here's a modern day myth, and the sightings of him are a mix of hoaxes and wishful thinking. So if we look what the scientific community say, they're in here somewhere, the scientific community. Okay, the important thing with this question is that you read the question and that you look for the specific part of the text it's asking for. So this is all about the scientific community and what they think, not what the other people in the text think. It's just what the scientific community are reported to think. And they say the scientific community regards the Loch Ness Monster as a modern day myth, which we've put as true, and that they're a mix of hoaxes and wishful thinking. We've put both of those. Finding copy of word that indicates where the reported sightings will be stored. Okay, so this one I thought was a little bit tricky. It wasn't worded in the nicest way possible. But for the first time, a comprehensive database of all reported sightings of the Loch Ness Monster is being compiled. It actually says complied, but it means compiled. That means put together. So find a copy of the word which indicates that the reported sightings will be stored. Where the reported sightings will be stored, they'll be stored in a database. You might have put St Andrews University, because that's where the person working on it is storing them, but the actual files will be stored in the database. Okay, number 5, look at the end of the article. Find and copy 2 words that show bodies of water that are not lochs. So we have here, we're at the end of the article, the word loch is another word for lake or fjord. So our answer comes from here, or our answers come from here. Right, next one. You should be able to see whether you've matched these up correctly. I'm not going to read them for you, but draw 4 lines to show which word matches each definition. I'll just pause for a moment so that you can make sure you've copied those correctly. Okay, number 7, true or false. Nessie, if I'm saying that correctly, means Loch Ness Monster in Scottish Gaelic. True, it says it at the top here. Nessie started to become very well known from 1933. Yes, it says that down here. Dr. Charles Paxton is a biologist who lives at St Andrews University. Well, he works at St Andrews University. It doesn't say anything about him living there, so I put a tick in the false box for that one. Loch Ness is in the Scottish Highlands. Well, it tells us at the top in the caption for the picture. Okay, number 8. Look again at the text. Show the order in which the following aspects are presented in the text by numbering them from 1 to 5. 1 has been done for you. Obviously, we don't need to do this first one. It has a very description between different sources, but I've numbered it in the text just to help me order the rest of them. So that's our first one. Our second one, when it was brought to the world's attention, well, that was in 1933. We've already had that as part of an answer above. Number 3, evidence of its existence is anecdotal. Well, that one's sort of testing that you know what the word anecdotal means, but anecdotes tend to be short, amusing stories, so that was sort of a bit of a vocab test as well. So that's number 3. Number 4, sightings of the monster are being recorded and stored. That's number 4. That's all about the database that we talked about. And then information on the length and width of Loch Ness. That's down in the little green fact file box down here. The loch is 23 miles long and 1 mile wide. Okay, let's have a look at the skills section. I'm not going to read it all through for you and go through every possible answer because you could have put several different things down. Just make sure that your answer matches with a color coding system that I've put here. So, for example, a noun would be any of the red answers would all be acceptable. Same for question 10. And you've already had some feedback on your writing, so make sure you have a look at that, make any adjustments that you need to, and I hope this has been helpful.